what do we do to encourage our people? We need to go back to agriculture. But then, how do you go back to agriculture with the kind of challenges we're facing, especially kidnapping, where people, when they go to farm, the next thing is they are being kidnapped. It is a very, very serious challenge, and something drastic needs to be done. We need to also develop climate resilient agriculture and water management system. Why am I saying this? Most of our farmers rely on dry farming. I think we need to go beyond that. We need to come up with strategies and measures to encourage our farmers to do dry season, well-mechanized agriculture going forward. Otherwise, we cannot continue to rely on the subsistence farming that we're used to. We need to also review the nomadic education system to make the undeserved pastoral communities have access to formal education system and science of integration. There are a lot of presentations, even where we came from now, about grazing land and so many other issues that are part of the root causes of this crisis. And what do? We need to really come up with an immediate solution. And that is the only way that we can begin to address these issues head on. Member states should strengthen sub-regional as well as interstate security collaboration, coordination for synergy as well as intelligence sharing. It doesn't make sense when Zamfara is doing so much to address the issue of banditry, while my neighbor in Sokoto or Katsina is not making similar efforts in tackling some of these challenges. Therefore, there's a need for synergy among all the states. Whatever is taking place in Zamfara, we expect Katsina, Kaduna, Niger, Sokoto, as well as Kebbi and Jigawa to do the same. We need to also improve information dissemination through regular interaction with the public in order to build trust between government and people for management of public expectations. We need to also come up with plans that will ensure effective management of cattle routes, grazing, as well as forest reserves. Member states to agree on collective unified approach in fighting banditry, as well as peace building in the entire sub-region of northwestern Nigeria and part of north-central Nigeria. In conclusion, I commend Mr. President for his reform initiative and battle against banditry in the northwest and Nigeria at large. We will cooperate with all development policies and programs for overall social-economic development of our region as well as Nigeria in general. The government and people of Zamfara State are grateful to the UNDP for the support as well as assistance in addressing the challenges in the sub-region and the nation at large. We are grateful to our host governor, the governor of Katsina State, who is the chairman of Northwest Governors Forum, and our chief host, Malam Diko Umaru Rata, for raising the bar of leadership in Northwest and his passion for partner with other states in order to rescue the region from its numerous challenges. My brother, you've done well, and we're behind you 100%. Continue the leadership, and we'll be there with you. Thank you. My sincere appreciation also to members of the forum for their cooperation and very good working relationship among all of us. Let us continue to work together and build safer, more prosperous, and resilient Northwest and Nigeria as a whole. I believe by doing this, it will show the commitment, and it's just a matter of time. With the kind of determination I've seen from my colleagues, believe me, these challenges, it's just a matter of time. By the grace of Allah, we shall overcome this. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause, please, for His Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, Dr. Dauda Lawal. Let me quickly call on His Excellency, the Governor of Jigawa State, Malam Umar A. Namadi, FCA, to make his remarks. Excellency, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State and the Chairman of the Northwest Governors Forum, Your Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Katsina, and the representative of His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State. Honorable Ministers, members of the National Assembly, Your Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, and His Royal Highness, the Royal Highness is the Emir of Katsina, Zaria, Daura, and Kazauri. Your Excellencies, the former governors of Katsina, the representative of the service chiefs, our development partners, especially the UN and UNDP, and members of the diplomatic corps, head of security agencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. For all intents and purposes, the Maiden Peace and Security Summit convened in this historic city of Katsina is by all means a momentous event with huge opportunities for serious and frank discussions on the security situation in the Northwest geopolitical zone. While there have been concerted efforts in search for solutions and containment of the security situation by government at all levels, today's summit is the first of its kind involving leaders at the highest level across various governance strata, as well as high-level participation and collaboration with our development partners. It is my firm belief that the event presents a great opportunity for major stakeholders to ponder and reach consensus on fostering pragmatic solutions for lasting peace and security in the region, for common approaches to the regional cooperation, and for forging effective development partnerships on moving forward with our regional agenda for peace, security, and development. Lasting peace and prosperity in this region and in Nigeria as a whole is a goal we must painstakingly aspire to achieve as leaders. There is no emphasizing the fact that the insecurity situation in this region and indeed other parts of our country has for many years caused immense human suffering at massive social and economic cost, including loss of lives and means of livelihood, as well as reversal of development efforts. Going through the agenda of the two-day event, the way it has been structured, as well as the array and caliber of speakers, moderators, and panel experts, I'm very confident that we are going to be having candid and insightful discussions on the current security situation and the development challenges bedevailing the region. This, I am optimistic, will make it possible to achieve the objective for which this inaugural summit was convened. From our previous engagement, all the 7 governors in the Northwest region have demonstrated serious commitment on the necessity for unity of purpose and strong alliances for fostering sustainable peace, security, and development throughout the region and across all parts of our beloved country. We all individually and collectively committed to strengthening peace and security in our respective states and throughout the region. It is my conviction that an outline of the Northwest Peace and Security Development Framework will begin to emerge from the 2-day high-level engagement as a major output to be achieved in this conference. Importantly, the framework must, among other factors, consider that development and economic prosperity as sine qua non for the lasting peace and security in this region. Accordingly, Security Development Framework must consider the evolution of development initiatives that provide sustainable means of livelihood for citizens and adequately caters for their well-being and overall economic well-being. The scope and extent of insecurity varies across states of the region. Generally, Jigawa State is regarded as one of the most peaceful states in the Northwest region, and indeed among the most states in the Federation. Notwithstanding, where we do not have high-level organized crimes, organized kidnapping networks, or cattle rustling, we do have our own share of concerns. Even at that, we remain ever vigilant and working assiduously in tandem with the security agencies and other stakeholders to maintain and improve on the security situation in the state. So, while remaining profoundly grateful and prayerful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the relative peace and security that we enjoy, we have always been proactive in dealing with the real and perceived security challenges. As our challenges in Jigawa State are almost exclusively farmer headers related, we have a standing high-level security and peace committee working on perennial farmer headers dispute, particularly in trouble areas. It was gratifying for us when we received a report that for the first time in over 2 decades, farmers in the trouble spot areas were able to plant and harvest their crop without any reported incident of killing a farmer or a header. It is a well-known fact that insecurity and violent conflicts are more likely to thrive under the condition of bad governance, coupled with extreme poverty, growing economic inequality, social exclusion, and injustice. I believe, being chief security officers of our respective state, we all consider peace and security as the single most important of our enormous responsibilities. As declared in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I quote, "Security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government," unquote. Accordingly, the logistical starting point is for every one of us to continue to uphold all the principles of good governance as we govern the affairs of our respective state. Adhering to the principle of transparency and accountability and being responsive to the yearning and aspiration of our citizens will be critical in achieving the fundamental objectives and directive principle of state policy enshrined in our Constitution, which includes ensuring social justice and securing the maximum welfare, freedom, and happiness of our citizens. In the same vein, our pursuit for good governance and governance reform must always be holistic, transcending the security sector itself. Without this, the quest for peace and security will continue to be a very difficult task. Finally, let me observe that most often, ranging conflict and insecurity in the region have been linked to poverty and deprivations, the dynamics of population growth, land degradation and fragmentation, and other related land disputes. It is also not uncommon to hear the conspiracy theories linked to the exploitation of natural resources and other socio-economic and political factors. Whether these are the superficial manifestation of the underlying root causes or not, we expect discussion in the next 2 days to be really robust, frank, honest, and insightful, so that the diagnosis and the ultimate prescription will be precise, effective, and efficient in laying foundation for lasting peace and prosperity in the region in particular and Nigeria as a whole. On this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish all of us a successful deliberation with equally successful outcome that will ultimately contribute to our quest for peace, security, and development in the region and Nigeria in general. So help us God. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Help me thank His Excellency with another round of applause, please. Now we're fast running out of time because it's almost Maghrib. So can I ask that the next speakers please try and maybe stand on existing protocol? But before we get to them quickly, there is a 3-minute video that we need to watch very, very quickly. Please, can you put it on immediately? If you waste time, I will cancel. Okay.
Northwestern Nigeria, a region rich in culture, history, and beautiful landscapes, where the arid Sahel meets lush savannas and the resilience of the people shines through. The cultural traditions of the Hausa, Fulani, and many other ethnic groups feature festivals like Durbar, which showcase exhilarating horse riding, traditional music, and dance. The markets are vibrant and bustling, offering a feast of sights, sounds, and scents. From colorful fabrics to aromatic spices as a historic trade hub. Agriculture is the backbone of the region. The industriousness of the people is evident in their dedication to farming. Development is key, with our unlimited potential in solar energy, tourism, agriculture, and energy sectors. Northwestern Nigeria is home to ancient cities like Kano and Zaria, with histories that date back centuries. The unique design of the iconic city walls of Kano and the Emir's Palace are highlights, as is the bustling industrial hub of Kaduna, filled with vast potential. In Sokoto, the seat of the Caliphate, you can explore the historic Sultan's Palace and the Shehu Kangiwa Square. Katsina also boasts the Katsina Royal Palace, a symbol of the region's rich history and architecture. Katsina has potential in the power sector as well. Zamfara, rich in minerals and beautiful landscapes, is also home to the Kiawa city walls and the serene Bado Hills. Jigawa is home to vast agricultural potential, from groundnuts to sorghum, cotton, cowpeas, and rice. In Kebbi, you'll find the stunning Argungi Fishing Festival, an annual event that attracts visitors from around the world to witness its vibrant cultural displays. If only we empower youths to realize their potential. If only we turn those magnificent fields into acres of produce. If only we could turn the abundant sun into the energy we need. If only we turn those beautiful landscapes into tourist areas, then we will achieve the development that we seek. The future we see is one where northwestern Nigeria is a place where tradition meets progress and where every corner has a story to tell.
Thank you very much. That is our Northwest, and if only we will do what we're supposed to do, we will reap a bountiful harvest. Now let me please invite the Deputy Governor of Kebbi State, who is here representing the Governor of Kebbi State, Senator Umar Abubakar, to make his remarks. Welcome, sir.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على النبي الكريم. Your Excellency, Host Governor, Your Excellency, other governors and deputy governors here present, Your Excellencies, former deputy governors, distinguished senators, honorable ministers, Your Eminence Sultan Basokoto, and other emirs here present. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I'm very delighted to be here with you on this very important occasion with the opening ceremony of Peace and Security Summit for the Northwest region of this country. This is a continuous search for finding enduring peace and security against the menace of the banditry and terrorism that seem to have defied solution in this particular zone. I believe the summit will certainly address security challenges in our states and work out enduring strategies, both militarily and diplomatically, find lasting peace to our region, as well as enhancing peaceful coexistence among our communities. On behalf of the Governor of Kebbi State and the good people of Kebbi State, I wish to commend the organizers of this summit. I also wish to affirm the Kebbi State government commitment to finding lasting solution in this region and the protection of our people against the menace of banditry and terrorism. I wish to make a very brief presentation of balancing acts on kinetic and non-kinetic strategies for advancing peace and security in the northwest region of Nigeria. I believe what makes northwest hotbed for banditry is because the region has sustainable solid mineral deposits, including gold exploited by artisanal miners in open pit mines. Despite its economic potential, Northwest had the highest poverty rate in Nigeria. The zone currently had the highest number of out-of-school children in the country. The causes of violence in Northwest are complex and interrelated. Climate change, environmental degradation, and higher population growth have intensified this struggle. Amid a boom in trade of small arms and light weapons in the region, organized gangs operating from ungoverned forests have proliferated, engaging in cattle rustling, kidnapping, and for ransom and armed robbery, including miners and traders in the largely unregulated gold mining sector, as well as pillage of communities, have been originated in Zamfara State. Gang violence has since spread to other nearby states in the region, namely Kaduna, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Niger states. Violence has had a far-reaching humanitarian and economic impact on the region and created a myriad of security problems. Over the last years, a significant number of people have been killed in this particular zone, with over 200 internally displaced and tens of thousands fleeing into Niger Republic. Livestock and crops have been destroyed, further worsening the human livelihood indices that were already the country's lowest. The federal and state governments initially responded to the violence primarily through military and police operations and by prescribing harsher punishments for armed attacks. The results were disappointing. The state security presence on the ground remains too thin and poorly resourced to subdue the armed groups or protect communities across a vast territory. At the same time, military operations against armed groups in the region have dispersed some of them to other regions, deepening insecurity countrywide. Some state governments have engaged peace talks with harder allied armed groups, partly because these groups are perceived as the major actors in the violence. They have granted
amenities to those willing to disarm, while pledging to address hardest grievances and needs. These concessions produce peace agreements that curb the violence for a short time, but with deadly incidents continuing and the region awash in arms. So the sustainability of these deals became difficult. This is why we are here to look for enduring strategies for both military and diplomatically to find lasting peace with this region. Kinetic strategies. The federal government has also established joint task forces comprising military, police, and other security agencies to coordinate efforts to enhance operational effectiveness in tackling insecurity. These task forces collaborate to conduct raids, patrols, and targeted operations aimed at eliminating the activities of insurgents and criminal elements. Durably adding the violence in the Northwest requires a multi-pronged approach, some of which must necessarily focus on the long term. Security operations against armed groups are important to curbing violence in the Northwest, but they will not secure the region permanently. There's their need to establish military presence at borders as a deterrent against bandits and terrorists. There should be increase in the visibility of security providers in borders areas through frequent joint patrols and joint border security surveillance. We should also ensure provision of border security and management training at the interstate level. Non-kinetic strategies. The foremost priority is to encourage negotiated settlements between herders and farmers, as well as to disarm, rehabilitate, and reintegrate members of their allied armed groups. In support of this effort, the federal and state governments should prioritize reforming livestock production systems in a manner that addresses the needs of both herders and farmers in order to minimize friction between them. The federal government may be able to assist in planning and establishing ranches within public grazing reserves and improve services around them by securing water resources, boosting pasture and fodder production, encouraging investment in associated activities. The Northwestern state governors, the federal government, and all stakeholders should come together and do whatever it takes to secure the vast farmlands in the region and assist the farmers with seedlings and finance to enable them to go back to work on their farms. That's in the short term. The farmers need support, encouragement, and assurance of their safety to enable them return to their farmlands to cultivate and produce various kinds of food and cash crops. This particular act will help reduce the level of hunger and poverty to a very reasonable degree in the region. The federal government should also collaborate with Niger and Benin Republic to improve border security to stem the flow of bandits and the weapons into Northwest. To effectively address these issues, a comprehensive and cohesive response is required. The ultimate solution to the problem has to involve the military, political, socio-economic strategies with robust cross-border cooperation and deep community engagement. Thank you. I wish all of us, a very successful deliberation. Thank you and God bless.
Another round of applause, please, for the Deputy Governor of Jigawa State. Can I invite the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Dr. Hadiza Sabwa Balarabe, to come and make her remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Our host, the Governor of Katsina State, who also doubles as the Chairman Northwest Governors Forum, Malam Dikorat, a PhD, Governors of Zamfara and Jigawa State, Deputy Governors who are here, His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto, our security chiefs, honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. His Excellency Senator Obasani requested that I extend his warm felicitations to each and everyone who is attending this summit. He has also asked that I deliver on his behalf his remarks. So going forward, these are his words. I'm delighted to join distinguished and eminent personalities in the historic city of Katsina to rub minds on a crucial issue that has been retarding the progress and development of the Northwest Zone. The Peace and Security Summit is aptly timed. No part of our country is free from insecurity. The only variation is in intensity and expression. In the North, especially, insecurity is evolving into dimensions that now question the very authority of the state. The 7 states of the Northwest and most states in the North Central region are affected by rural banditry, which has now merged with insurgency, along with cattle rustling, kidnapping, and communal violence. All this put together have thrown a blanket of insecurity over northern Nigeria, actively threatening safety, liberties, and livelihoods of citizens. Several factors have been adjudged to be responsible for insecurity in the Northwest, but I would like to point here just 2. That's the vast ungoverned spaces, making our forest a playground for criminal groups which terrorize villages and highways, and also the shrinking land and pasture intensifying deadly clashes between farmers and herders. Now, it may interest you to know that out of 364 approved international border points in Nigeria, about 261 are in the Northeast and Northwest regions. And as at mid-2023, 137 of these were unmanned by security agencies. The close linkage of drug trafficking and abuse with insecurity cannot also be understated. The federal government and state governments in the Northwest Zone have devised strategies and measures to degrade criminal elements with varying degrees of success. However, certain factors have limited success and even constituted stumbling blocks towards the final and decisive push against insecurity in the region. And I must say these factors include politicization of security issues, injection of religion into security issues, media misrepresentation, distortion, and sometimes sensationalization. We have a lot of informants now working for bandits and terrorists, and so on and so forth. The Kaduna State government has taken certain steps to confront non-state actors laying siege on some of our communities. We have nurtured a strong collaborative framework with security agencies, along with streamlining intelligence gathering, while strategically coordinating security-related matters within the state. An improved participatory communication strategy with citizens is helping to nullify the infusion of politics into security. However, these measures can only be optimally effective against banditry and terrorism within a deliberately designed regional structure. To effectively degrade criminal elements in the Northwest, a multidimensional approach is urgently required. Security management must move beyond just physical security and draw deeply from our political and socio-economic environments. Since the problem of banditry and kidnapping is clearly beyond what one state can effectively manage, regional collaboration is an absolute imperative. Our adversaries are very united and coordinated in their criminal tendencies. We must therefore stand together as one. As colleague governors, we must demonstrate leadership by supporting our security agencies and mobilizing citizens to complement their efforts. We must remember that we are not in competition as states. We are collaborators and partners. While we appreciate the military high command for their unwavering commitment, I believe it is time for us to take that commitment to another level. I wish to suggest the establishment of a theater command dedicated to combating banditry and terrorism in the Northwest. The theater command will be greatly assisted by the 1 Division Nigerian Army covering Kaduna, Kano, Jigawa, and Niger states, and the 8th Division covering Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, and Katsina states. Policing must be improved across the Northwest. The involvement of the military in internal security is already a huge distraction and a drain on military capacity. State police is a growing and more urgent need. Ongoing military operations across the Northwest must be sustained, strengthened, and harmonized across states for a simultaneous, coordinated approach. I will humbly appeal for an extension of the operations of the Multinational Joint Task Force to cover international borders spanning the Northwest. Porous borders fuel threats to national security and allow the movement of machineries and arms. Expanding the Multinational Joint Task Force will go a long way in curtailing the proliferation of small arms and light weapons that fuel this criminality. We need to massively resettle displaced communities, and this we must facilitate. Standing security committees should be strengthened and empowered at state and local government levels, and these must include civil society organizations, religious and traditional leaders for effective synergy and early warning against violence. We must review and refine security strategies which should include viable non-kinetic approaches like de-radicalization, rehabilitation, and transitional justice. The National Assembly should hasten legislative action towards the establishment of state police, as well as stricter firearms proliferation laws. Socioeconomic interventions must be prioritized and effectively implemented to address rural poverty and infrastructure deficit. Along with amplifying support for our security forces as a region and enhancing our localized intelligence systems, we must collectively pursue other essential steps like stimulating investment, developing agriculture and agribusiness, expanding rural infrastructure, broadening access to education and healthcare, and most importantly, nurturing engagements and promoting a sense of inclusion amongst all citizens. A massive campaign for ethical reorientation must be launched in the Northwest to revive norms, morals, and mores that made our people have respect for human lives, community living, hard work, and decency. Finally, let me state that we are encouraged by the leadership demonstrated by Mr. President towards galvanizing states to action against insecurity. Kaduna State aligns with all the efforts, and indeed, we have greatly benefited from them. As a demonstration of our commitment to regional cooperation, we will continue to ensure that our Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs networks with similar ministries in the region and beyond, as well as security agencies. We will continue to champion calls for legislative reforms, including the establishment of state police. This aim is to localize solutions to security challenges and provide more boots on the ground. It should not be viewed through the lens of potential disadvantages. We should rather fine-tune our systems to get the most out of this very important step. It is a necessity, and it is an idea whose time has come. We will also want to make clear our commitment to regional cooperation. We will continue to strengthen our stance against politicization of insecurity in the Northwest. We will continue to nurture the spirit of hope and cooperation amongst our citizens. Through meaningful dialogue and positive action, we can and we will propel the Northwest towards the vision of sustainable peace, safety, and security for our people. I wish us all fruitful deliberations. Thank you. God bless the Northwest, and God bless Nigeria.
There should be more women deputy governors and governors. That is my view. Thank you so much, Excellency. Let me quickly invite the Deputy Governor of Sokoto State, His Excellency Mohammed Idris Gobir, to deliver his own remarks. Excellency, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Excellency, the Chairman, Northwest Governors Forum, Your Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, and Your Excellency, the Governor of Jigawa State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, and Your Excellency, the Deputy of Kebbi State, and Deputy of Katsina State, the representative of Kano State, Your Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, Dr. Saad Abubakar Jitot, and our fathers, the traditional leaders that are here present with us, the honorable ministers, and the honorable members of the National Assemblies here present, members of the UNDP, our service chiefs, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I'm here to read the speech of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, Dr. Ahmed Aliu, FCNA. All thanks and praise are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the here and hereafter, whose mercy made this day an occasion possible. It will be understanding the obvious to describe this summit as significant. We hope that at the end of the day, these congregations will avail us to more avenues for preferring solutions to the problem confronting our region. This summit is undoubtedly timely, as all hands out to be on deck to find far-reaching solutions to the festering problem of insecurity, which has retarded the development and the growth of our region in all phases, and which is today the chief cause of multiple deaths and destructions of the means of livelihood and communities of thousands of our people. It is indeed lamentable that the Northwest has never experienced horrible security situation as what is happening now, when bandits have the temerity to unleash their attack as it is pleased them. Unfortunately, all these sad incidents are happening despite the concerted effort being made by all the state government and the security agencies in the region to checkmate the negative trends. It is undisputable that the economic crisis being faced globally was further compounded in the Northwest due to activities of bandits who have now instilled serious fear in the minds of our farmers, as thousands of them were shot dead while working on their farms. Similarly, many communities deserted their homelands on the others, or out of fear of bandits. This particular situation has greatly contributed in the current shortage of foodstuff being faced in the county, as the zone is a notable producer of various food and cash crops. Your Excellencies, may I at this juncture briefly inform this August gathering the modest effort of our administration to tackle the problem of insecurity in the state since assumption of office. Considering the importance of vehicles in the fight against banditry, Sokoto State government has purchased and distributed 70 security vehicles and restore monthly allowances to the security personnel deployed to flash point. This is in addition to regular logistics support to the security outfit. The government has also established Community Guard Corps, and 700 motorcycles were procured for distribution to them accordingly, as part of the effort to build trust and foster cooperation between security and citizens. We prioritize communities' engagement and dialogue, community policing, and neighborhood watch groups. Your Excellencies and invited guests, all these efforts and the similar ones being made by various governments in the region will not make much impact without effective synergy, intelligence gathering, and information sharing. In line with this, therefore, it has become pertinent for all the states in the zone and the security agencies to concentrate more on above strategies so as to rescue our people and the region from bandits and their heinous activities. On a final note, I wish to once more thank the keynote speakers and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, for honoring this event. This has clearly illustrated how committed and concerned Mr. President is, as it is related to issues bordering on insecurity in our region and the country as a whole. I equally wish to acknowledge the contribution of the UNDP towards organizing this summit, and we are always ready to partner with development partners in effort to find lasting solution to this problem. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to return all of us to our various destinations safely after the summit. Thank you.
Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs. Stay tuned.
Chinua Lumogu Achebe was born November 16, 1930 in Ogidi, Nigeria. He went to Government College in Umuahia, Nigeria. In 1948, Achebe won a scholarship to the University of Ibadan to study medicine, but after a year, he changed his major to writing. After graduation in 1953, he became a script writer for the Nigerian Broadcasting Service (NBS), eventually becoming the head programmer for the discussion series. In 1956, he visited London for the first time to take a training course with the BBC. On returning, he moved to Enugu and edited and produced stories for the NBS. Achebe was unhappy with books about Africa written by British authors such as Joseph Conrad and John Buchan because he felt the descriptions of African people were inaccurate and insulting. In his spare time, he worked on Things Fall Apart. The novel was published in 1958. The book won immediate international recognition and also became the basis for a play. His second book, No Longer at Ease, published in 1960, is set in the last decade before Nigeria achieved independence. In 1961, Chinua Achebe met and married Christiana Chinwe Okoli, and they eventually had 4 children. The third book in the African trilogy, Arrow of God, was published in 1964. Achebe published his fourth novel, A Man of the People, in 1966. The novel tells the story of the widespread corruption of Nigerian politicians and ends in a military coup. During the Biafra conflict, Achebe's house was bombed and his friend Christopher Okim was killed. Achebe and his family went into hiding in Biafra and then fled to Britain for the duration of the war. From 1972 to 1976, Achebe held a visiting professorship in African literature at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. After that, he returned again to teach at the University of Nigeria. He became chair of the Association of Nigerian Writers and edited Uwandi Igbo, a journal of Igbo life and culture. Although he wrote many essays and kept involved with the writing community, Achebe did not write another book until 1988's Anthills of the Savannah. In 1990, Achebe was involved in a car crash in Nigeria, which damaged his spine so badly he was paralyzed from the waist down. Bard College in New York offered him a teaching job and the facilities to make that possible, and he taught there from 1991 to 2009. In 2009, Achebe became a professor of African Studies at Brown University. In 2012, he published the essay, There Was a Country, a personal history of Biafra. Achebe won the Man Booker International Prize for his life's work in 2007 and received more than 30 honorary doctorates. He remained critical of the corruption of Nigerian politicians, condemning those that stole or squandered the nation's oil reserves. In addition to his own literary success, he was a passionate and active supporter of African writers. However, Achebe died in Boston, Massachusetts on March 21, 2013 after a brief illness. He is credited with changing the face of world literature by presenting the effects of European colonization from the point of view of Africans. He specifically wrote in English, a choice that received some criticism, but his intent was to speak to the whole world about the real problems that the influence of Western missionaries and colonialists created in Africa. His life was an inspiration and sentimental to Western culture, promoting customs and values about traditional African society.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
From the valleys through the hills to the riverbanks of Kogi State, we bring you update on the developmental and economic activities of the Kogi State government under the leadership of Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo on Confluence States Today. From road construction to infrastructure, health and human development, we take you on a journey around the 21 local government areas of Kogi State on Confluence States Today. Kogi State is moving forward. Our people are enjoying the true dividends of democracy. Confluence States Today, showing on TVC News at this time.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Tired of pans that scratch and stick? Or cookware that takes up valuable space in your kitchen and are of little to no use? Cooking used to be fun, but now it just feels like a chore. Introducing ShopX Gotham Hammered Copper Collection, the perfect cookware to upgrade your cooking experience. The Gotham Hammered Copper Collection features a super durable ultra non-stick surface. Eggs stick to other pans, but with the Hammered Copper Collection, they slide right out. Incredible! Plus, the Cool Touch solid cast handle makes it safe and easy to cook even the hottest dishes. It's oven safe up to 500 degrees, so bake this beautiful chicken suey pizza and serve it straight from the pan. Or this tasty delicious cake that will have your whole family asking for more. Any recipe can be made in these pans, and then it wipes clean with ease, so cleanup is a breeze. Plus, use your hammered copper pan to make homemade pancakes that flips and slips right out. Or make mouth-watering jollof rice or even fluffy pounder with ease, because nothing sticks.
I needed a culprit to keep up with me. The Gotham Hammered Collection has been a game changer. No more burnt meals or hours spent scrubbing pots.
The Gotham Hammered Copper Collection is now available in Nigeria exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying over $490,000 for a collection of pans that are not even non-stick. Call the number on your screen now and get it for just 364,950 naira. This incredible ShopX offer includes one 8.5 inches fry pan, one 10.25 inches fry pan, one 1.4 liters saucepan, one 2.4 liters saucepan, one 4.7 liters stock pot, one stainless steel steamer, 4 tempered glass lids. But wait! If you order now, we will upgrade you to the Premier Kitchen Collection at no extra charge and also include one cookie sheet, one round baking pan, one square baking pan, one loaf pan and muffin pan, and one all-in-one food processor that blends, grinds, chops, dices, pounds yam and makes smoothies in seconds. All for just 364,950 naira only. And that's not all. You can get the ShopX Premier Kitchen Collection in 2 easy payments of 182,475 naira. Place your order now and we will deliver the entire collection for free anywhere you are in Nigeria. But hurry, this exclusive ShopX TV offer is for a limited time only, so call now while stocks last. The following was a paid presentation from ShopX TV.
The Inspector General of Police has met with senior officers to review the state of security.
We are continuing our coverage of the arrest of Godwin Emefiele.
The Senate has summoned the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to properly brief the Senate regarding the state of the economy.
President Bola Tinubu has announced the total removal of fuel subsidy.
The fresh subsidy is gone. What I will never take is threat.
Let's now bring you more development from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where an explosion has taken place. Tell us about this incident.
TVC News. First with breaking news.
Hello and thanks for joining us. This is TVC News at 7. Our top stories tonight. Lagos State government confirms 29 dead, 30 persons hospitalized as cases of cholera rise in the state. Supporters of former local government chairman in Rivers State stage rallies in support of closure of council secretariats by the police. 8 people dead after office building fire in Farazino near Moscow in the Russian capital. In sport, Italy battle Croatia as both nations seek a knockout spot in the European Championship. Thanks for staying with us. We are staying with updates on the outbreak of cholera in Lagos and Ogun State, where in just 2 days, 5 more persons have died from the outbreak of cholera in Lagos State. The death toll now stands at 29. Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, while giving an update, said the number of deaths rose because affected patients did not present themselves to the hospitals while the case was mild. Senior correspondent Sarah Yeko reports.
Key officials from the Lagos State One Health team are holding this briefing to clarify misconceptions and debunk fake news about the outbreak and spread of cholera. The Lagos State One Health team comprises the Ministries of Health, the Environment and Water Resources, Education, Information and Strategy. Leading the team, Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, revealed the state government's response to the outbreak and also warned the public to drink safe water, cook food thoroughly, maintain personal hygiene and wash hands regularly, report symptoms like watery diarrhea or vomiting immediately, and utilize free treatments for suspected cholera at all government facilities. Lagos now has 579 suspected cases, 43 confirmed cases, and 29 deaths from across 20 local government areas in the state.
The 10th of June, we saw an unprecedented number of cases in our government facilities, predominantly around Lagos Island, Lekki, and Koshofe. The intensification of identifying of cases resulted in a slight increase in the numbers that we identified. As of yesterday, we had only 30 left on admission, and since we have had no new admissions yesterday or as of this morning, those numbers will continue to decrease as they get better.
On rumors about the consumption of tiger nut drinks causing the outbreak, the commissioner clarified that investigations are still ongoing, but residents in Lagos should stay away from unregistered street food and drinks because they might be likely sources of stomach flu.
That if you're going to manufacture anything for public consumption, you must be registered with NAFDAC. So that will immediately put a very high level of regulation over the manufacture of street beverages. So far, we've tested several, and we haven't got any positive results back on cholera. We're continuing to test, hoping that we can maybe identify a particular source.
The government insists the number of suspected cases have significantly reduced from the peak on the 10th of June. For now, the number of cases does not require a vaccine rollout. Even if it did, there is a shortage of cholera vaccines at public health facilities in Lagos. Sarah Ayeku, TVC News, Lagos.
Meanwhile, in Ogun State, the government has confirmed 9 cases of cholera out of the 25 suspected cases in the state, with 1 death recorded. TVC News' Kazim Olowe reports.
As cholera cases spread to more than 30 states in the country, Ogun State government has confirmed 9 cases out of the 25 suspected cases, with 1 death. The cases, according to the Commissioner for Health in Ogun State, spread across 7 local government areas, which are Ado-Odo-Ota, Remo North, Odeda, Shagamu, Ijebu North, Iwekuru, and Obafemi-Owode. The Commissioner added that 8 out of the 9 confirmed cases have travel history to Lagos, and 6 of them were reported to have taken tiger nut drink while in Lagos. She said the state has put measures in place to put the spread under control.
As of today, the 24th of June 2024, Ogun State has recorded 25 suspected cases, and in 7 LGAs. The initial 8 cases actually originated, the first 8 cases originated from Lagos State, which is the reported epicenter for the cholera outbreak in Nigeria at present. And it states that, and it shares borders with 4 of our local governments.
The commissioner warned residents to be conscious of what they eat or drink and appealed to people to create awareness among their families. The Commissioner for Environment also highlighted what the state is doing to reduce the spread and ensure the environment is clean and safe for the people.
The State Epidemiology Unit is on high alert. All LGA disease surveillance and notification officers have all intensified their surveillance across all 20 LGAs. Our private health facilities and citizens have been sensitized to heighten their index of suspicion and report any suspicious case immediately.
We are all out now checking boreholes and water supply for especially those who are into commercial use of this water supply, and they can distribute this problem easily if they are extracting water.
Members of the public were also urged to ensure they take clean and safe water, preferably water supply through the State Water Corporation. They want school administrators to monitor their learners and ensure they screen whatever the vendors sell to them. Katsina, TVC News, Abeokuta.
For perspectives on the cholera outbreak, Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Jide Idris, joins me on the news. Good to have you join us.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
So the Lagos State government is saying, yes, we can hear you. The Lagos State government is saying that we're seeing a downward trend, but NCDC has now placed the country at high risk. Help us understand what that means and where we are in terms of the severity of the outbreak.
Well, based on the information reaching us and data over the weekend and requests from other states, there was a rapid dynamic risk assessment that was done between Friday and Saturday by the National Technical Working Group on Cholera. This is a technical working group